The men have oiled up their bodies in preparation for an assault by the women, and it's Chief Aritana who calls the women to the men's hut. The men can only silently await the frenzy. Women love the Alukaka Games. It's one of the few times of year when control swings noticeably in their favor. At the front is Chumin, the wrestling champion, and the line stretches back to the youngest and weakest. The rules of the game are straightforward. The women must break the line and tear the young warriors off, one man at a time. Eventually, the only man left is the wrestling champion. The game ends when the women tear him away from the pole. The games continue throughout the day, bringing a festive atmosphere to the normally hard-working community. Around 200 people live in the village at any one time. Cultural events, such as the Peki Festival, bring the community together. Everyone takes great pride to wear their traditional clothes and adornments. As the day progresses, the games become increasingly boisterous. The next game to be played is unashamedly sexual and great fun. It's a game where genders are reversed. The women pretend to be men, who gang together to answer the taunts of their opposites. Pretending to be women, the men are pounced on by the other sex. After the day's revelry, the village women go off to the river to bathe. Women bathe separately to the men, except when with their husbands or close family. Now that the games are over, the village has quietened down. But an unexpected event has brought the Yawalapichi leaders to the men's hut. Chief Aritana has been informed by the shaman that tonight there'll be a lunar eclipse. For Shingu peoples, an eclipse is a sacred event. If it does indeed take place, this will mean postponing the Peki festival. The news will dramatically transform events in the village.
Iruka awapuka video keri kajunupi kajunupa keri jumeka mapuka pai wanukali itapuka azo awaku lukuka aju mahuti chupuluka aju mahuti chup da aputuka pulita buluka.
One of the first rituals performed during a lunar eclipse involves the young men. They will be whipped as the Earth's shadow passes over the moon.
Maika lakai suka, maika lakai, kaya katuka, kaya piwa apa huka pelikwa, kaya katika, maika lakai suka.
After the meeting, the men head for a small river on the other side of the village to bathe. Before the leaders inform the young men that they will later be whipped, they must be sure that the eclipse really will take place. Traditionally, it's the shaman who predicts an eclipse, and a shaman has more than one way of knowing.
Isiruka iyutabuka pamau kinala itsemuka pa uchi ka itsemu punya muka pa ka uchi nayata katupa buka itis nyanya.
There is another way that a shaman knows of a forthcoming eclipse. Animal behavior is affected by the moon. Though an untrained ear might not notice these subtleties, it's the skill of a medicine man to be aware of these natural signs. The name of the village shaman who predicted the eclipse is Aira. He fears the eclipse. The moon is a powerful creation spirit that will menstruate and even drip blood on the earth.
Maitaya konepa, oyamba vita maitaya konepa. Oh, kinikatuiteni penawa. Kinikatuiteni penawa wan. Yameko. Kinikatuiteni penawa. Na areko uri ko. Chagani pa obuku korina ewa. Piyemo ko iki kura ewa. Yameko. Piyemo ko iki kura ewa.
If an eclipse does indeed take place tonight, the Yawalapichi believe that supernatural spirits will descend on their village. The spirits might bring illness, even death.
Kinikatuitena ewa. Oyama aitarako. Era mueo koi panyemera ko ut. O uhaua meka. O uhaua meka.
Shortly before midnight, the eclipse begins. Chief Aritana has already called the young men to the men's hut for the rituals to begin. It's important that the tribesmen remain festive and good-natured. If they don't, then the spirits might punish them. An eclipse is seen as a time of renewal and an awakening. As part of this awakening, they begin beating young men in front of the invisible spirits. The spirits are not offended by laughter or jokes, only if they're forgotten or ignored. The whipping is considered to make the young warriors more courageous. They rid themselves of old fears by running off into the dark. The eclipse has brought supernatural spirits into the village. The Yawalapichi respond by playing their most sacred instrument, the Jakui pipes. It's taboo for women to look at these flutes, or even for them to be filmed. Throughout the night, their haunting sounds echo across the village from the men's hut. It's the first morning after the eclipse, and the cycle of ceremonies continues. A group of musicians awaken the village with their flutes. This is called the Takwara ceremony, where the flutes must pass from house to house throughout the whole morning. Inside the long houses, young women are being painted up to join the procession. Both mother and daughter want to please the spirits of the eclipse and show them the effort they've made to enchant them. The flute procession continues along the ring of houses, heralding the day of the dances ahead. Grass fibers are tied in a girdle around the girl's waist. A short reed provides the final detail. It's alluring, and it shows off her feminine beauty. As the flute procession grows, the musicians pick up the adorned women as they move from one house to the next. The women of the Takwara stand with their backs to the flutes. They're not supposed to look at the musicians till they join them. The next dance in the cycle of ceremonies is the Tapanawarana. As with all the dances, it's being held to demonstrate to the eclipse spirits that they have not been forgotten. This is, in fact, a rehearsal, since the Yawalapichi practice all their dances, often for many days at a time. By late afternoon, it's in full swing. The drummer and singer keep time, which the dancers follow with their steps. If the rhythm speeds up, the dancers respond by speeding up as well. The women hold on to the men to keep time. So long as they know the moves of the dances, any woman can dance with any man. The whole dance tells a mythical story about spirits of the water world. The movements of the dance, especially the swinging of arms, symbolize fish swimming in water. As the dance continues in the center of the village, Chief Aritana watches eagerly. Close by is the shaman Aira, ever watchful. Aritana is pleased that the day's dances have gone well. By honoring the traditions, it means that the supernatural spirits will protect his people. Dawn, on the second day after the eclipse. Two elders, Hinako and Uelupe, have gone spearfishing. The older men of the tribe still practice this traditional method of fishing, though nets and fishing lines are now common in the Xingu. But spearfishing is highly valued and highly effective. The arrows used for spearfishing have two prongs, giving the fisherman a better chance of hitting the slippery fish than a single point. The hunter must not only be able to spot the fish through the water's glare, but aim through the surface, which distorts the true position of the fish. Hinako makes a strike. The arrow stays in the fish, allowing him to retrieve it. It's a perfect shot, but if he doesn't make sure the fish is dead, it might wriggle out of the canoe. The elders continue stalking the fish throughout the morning.